and collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs, and crosswatchers. Welcome to your timeless Path of True Love reading with extended reading. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal. For short, they're my initials. I'm not bad, it's just spelled that way. I'm a professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Jarring the Circle Productions since 1998, author of 2 books at the time of this recording, Spell Ingredients from a Professional Witch, as well as Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Words of Grace has a Kindle version. If you like, you can click the link in the description box and preview a good chunk of it for free. The original version, the visual Fellini Film Fest of a chakra spectrum of a lot of grace going on. That original version is over on Patreon, as is Spell Ingredients. You can shop now, regardless if you're a subscriber or not. You can get the original versions of both of those books. Some of my subscribers get that as part of their benefit package, but all of my subscribers over on patreon.com get 3 benefits in common, and I love telling people about it. Benefit number 1, they get me pretty much every single morning when I send them an unlisted YouTube live stream link and what we call a daily check-in, where we chat with each other about the day's astrological weather, the magical applications, the spiritual implications, always ending with a prayer, a meditation, something to send us on our way. Best way for me to start the day, considering what I do. Didn't do it this morning because last night was a really big new moon and I had a little bit of magical burnout. The second benefit they all get is all the extended readings, all the part 2s to the part 1s, including the one for this reading right here we are about to jump into. All of them are timeless. All of my extended readings are timeless. They're all relationship stuff based, and they're all pretty much over an hour, give or take. So if you like detail, I'm your witch. And the third benefit they get is an extensive discount on private sessions with me, readings and spiritual counseling. We'll talk about it at the end of the video if you want to hang out for that. Otherwise, I cannot recommend being a creator on Patreon quite enough. I do try, but I don't think I quite cross all the T's and dot all the I's. We even have a 7-day free trial option for our first 2 levels, Seeker and Human. It's a cool thing. We've got a shop now. All of my digital products are available there on Patreon. You can even follow us without even subscribing. You get the public content, of which I do send out public content there. So if you feel so intuitively inspired to do so, click the link, check it out, look at our menu, and come Patreon on Patreon, because I am the Archangel of Lions, Mark Angelo Lyons. But you can just call me Mal, and I'm in a really good mood to do these readings. Lots of good stuff going on in my personal life. So let's move on. We will do some explanation for the new Aquarians and Crosswatchers, and we'll get down to the divination. Feel free to jump ahead if you've heard it all before. Welcome, new Aqualungs, new Aquariums, and Crosswatchers. Path of True Love is your hero's journey, your healing journey, your spiritual path, your ascension thing, whatever you want to call it, through the lenses of your relationships. It's how we learn our lessons, mostly is through our relationships. The Path of True Love being about you. It doesn't matter the type of relationship it's in, because you heal one, you heal them all a little bit, because you are the common denominator in all of your relationships. So since you can't change other people, you can heal yourself, or as I like to say in the language of spiritual alchemy, alchemize your shadow to light, your lead to gold, your pain to peace, your toxic to healthy, your fear to love, your illusions to truth, on the path of true love, becoming the true love that you are. Truth in the third eye, love in the heart, throat chakra choices and decisions that we make in all of our relationships. There's even a preface to this series of readings. You can see it in the description box. Did it 2 years ago. Probably will remake that next year. But it does explain that I'm doing the Celtic Cross. Or we're going to be doing the Celtic Cross spread. We actually have 15 cards in part 1 and 18 cards in part 2. 33 in total. I did math. You're welcome. We're going to start with 2 Caroline Mace archetype cards, one for party number 1 and party number 2, if you're familiar with the Celtic Cross, right? The cover and the cross. Party number 1, party number 2, we're using legal language because I was raised by a lawyer. This is going to be what's going on in the 8th chakra, hovering over the head of each of you, if this is your reading. Sending down the codes to all of the other chakras, shifting what you attract and what you repel, so that you will alchemize these soul powers, part of your sacred contract. Caroline Mace, MYSS PhD, Sacred Contracts, big influence on my healing path. Anatomy of the Spirit, her book is also the eighth chakra schemata, whatever you want to call it. I learned that from her. So all of that's in this reading. So I guess, is that about it? I guess that's about it. Oh, right, except we get 10 Mythic Tarot for the Celtic Cross itself to look at the lower 3 chakras. So these are the 8th. These are the lower 3, root, sacrum, solar plexus. In the extended reading, we'll use Daughters of the Moon Tarot to fill in the gap there, heart, third eye, crown. And once those 12 are on the table, we'll get you 2 Whispers of Love Oracle cards from the higher selves of party number 1 and party number 2. And we will end with a Matt Kahn healing mantra. But I do want to say, Angela Hartfield's Whispers of Love Oracle is one of my favorites. And I liked her so much that we used her Whispers of Lord Ganesh to help remove the obstacles on the path of true love in the extended. So yeah, no, I think that's enough explanation. Don't you think? I think. So both feet on the floor, if you can. Focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the best that I can to help anybody take a step forward on the path of true love. For as one of us heals, all of us heals. As one of us loves, all of us become a little bit closer to being the truth of love that we are. Because every day is a winding road, but we get a little bit closer, holographically speaking. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. Let's get into the still point and make that shift from explanation, which I'm glad to do, to the divination, which I was born and contracted to do apparently in this life, considering the number of reads that I do. So let's do it. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Pantheonic override. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers who are watching this video and drawn to this reading, please, beloved ones, what is the dominant archetype in the 8th chakra for party number 1 in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, path of true love read? And what about party number 2? What's the dominant archetype? Them to alchemize, from shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, fear to love, on the path of true love in this timeless Aquarian read. The Vampire and the King. Oh my god, Carpe Jugulum, Terry Pratchett, right in my head, the vampires. Oh, Varents. Such good books. Everything I really needed to learn about witchcraft I learned from Terry Pratchett Discworld novels. The Vampire. I will hopefully remember to put a link in the description box to a video I did, God, years and years ago called Vampires and Witches, about how witches and vampires actually come together because witches make good vampire slayers. So this is a wild card family archetype. There are 9 different families or groupings. This is masculine, the king, the masculine family of archetypes. So really, really interesting. On each is a shadow attribute and a light attribute. I call that the lead and the gold. 3 atoms in between those 2 on the periodic table of the elements. So that's what these reads are for. To alchemize the shadow to light, lead to gold, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk vampires, shall we? The lead, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. As soon as I started hearing chronic complaining, red flag, absolutely, considering what I do for a living. The light attribute, what you're shooting for, is makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life. So yeah, vampire, vampire hunter, vampire healer, vampire slayer. Depends on whether you want them in your life or not, right? Slay, you stay, or slay, you go. I mean, there's so much, the addiction of codependency. And, I mean, it says it right there in the first line of the lead, depleting others for your psychic survival. So they rarely know they're doing it. It's the ones that know that they're doing it that's the problem. Otherwise, you can have compassion, particularly if you are alchemizing the king archetype. Now, see if you can see this in the outer world at all, because it's all holographic. Boogie, oogie, oogie. Excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Yeah. much. The light attribute, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge, right? So this could be a work situation. Not all of these readings are necessarily romantically based. Everybody wants them to do. That's why I do the romantic soulmate contract reads. Those are separate. Those are specifically for that, because those are the hardest ones in my experience. This could be family members, this could be friends, and it could even be boss and employee here. But let's see, because nothing wrong with a vampire hunter going after a tyrant king, right? Excessive feelings of entitlement. Entitlement, the deadly sin of the solar plexus. So we'll see what's going on in the solar plexus, which we are going to do right now with the mythic tarot, lower three chakras, the masculine energy, looking at yourself from the outside, you from the inside, I should say, and or you, looking from the inside out at people, places, and things, relationships in the physical world, those powers, that navigation is done in the lower three chakras. Let's see what hits the table. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. God's override. As I call upon my gods of air, the sign of Aquarius and powers of the East, please, beloved gods of fixed air, 10 cards face down, Celtic Cross, for this Vampire King contract for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and crosswatchers. Come here, you. Watching this video and drawn to this reading. Party number 1, Vampire in the 8th. What's going on? Lower three chakras there. What's going on? Party number 2, King in the 8th. Lower three chakras. What's at the core? Subconscious influences, unless they're really tuned in to what's going on beneath it all in the subconscious, intuitively, and all of that. Make that symmetrical, please. Where have they been? What's behind them? What's in the behind of the Aquarians? Because they are ruled by Uranus. What do you got going on there? And crowning, hovering above this, a probability, a possibility, but they are at a crossroads, so a choice or decision has to be made about that one way or another. What is just before them? What's before them on the path? Right, just around the river bend, just around the corner, lower three chakras. I'm running out of room already. That's nuts. You go there, you go there, you go there. Beloved ones, what is their lesson, the universal learning template from the outside looking in? How about how the world sees them? If we were to, meet these two on the street, what would that look like? What is the destiny alchemized from fate? Their fears and hopes, because they hope for their destiny, but they're afraid what they got to do to get there, because that's how it rolls. What do you got for them? Lower three chakras in the hero's aspect of the path of true love, fate into destiny, and the most probable outcome for this path of true love reading. Card number 10. Get over there, you. And let's look. Vampire in the 8th for party number 1, King of Cups. This could be a Cancerian. It is the Cancerian card. Cardinal Water. Orpheus, the poet in Greek mythology. Brilliant poet. Started his own mystery school, but could not follow directions. Just ask his wife if he can find her. Now look, this could be somebody that from the outside looking in, although, if you no planets in Cancer, don't worry about it. It is about emotions, right? It is about cardinal creative emotions. Cancer, the mother of the zodiac. So this could be a mother figure. Does not necessarily have to be a female, right? But definitely with the king there on the outer, with the king archetype in party number 2. Let's see if there's a connection there. King in the 8th. I like this. 6 of Pentacles on the outer, an equal give and take, an equal exchange, a fairness, a balance. Numerologically, 6s being numbers of balance and harmony. So I'm going to say, as far as a vampire would go, if there's an equal give and exchange, that's not parasitic, that's symbiotic, right? So that's a little bit of a mystery. What's interesting, though, is that both of these kings essentially wearing the same thing, except one is Orpheus and one isn't, right? So let's see. There might be a lot of symmetry between these two, or there can also be what's called mirroring. Now, there is this thing in the New Age, you spot it, you got it. That's very simplistic. There's a video you can watch on YouTube. It might even be in the description box still. The 7 Essene mirrors, ESSENE mirrors. A 2-hour workshop free on YouTube by Greg Braden, NASA scientist turned mystic. It's really good. So there are 7 mirrors. So you spot it, you got it. It's like very simplistic. Point your finger, 3 fingers pointing back. Well, there's more to it than that. And the Essenes wrote a Dead Sea Scrolls, Qumran, and all of that. At the core of this is the lovers. Now, I know we want to immediately rubber stamp this as a romantic lover thing, but underneath it all, the lovers is always about a life-changing decision, not just a choice, right? This is a crossroads thing. Here we have the judgment of Paris, when a golden apple was hucked into the wedding of Cadmus and Harmonia. 3 goddesses jumped for it because it was written on it, to the most beautiful goddess. It was thrown in there by Eris, the goddess of discord, because they didn't invite her to the wedding. Because who invites wedding, dude? Who invites discord to a wedding, right? So Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera dove for it. They're like, it's mine, I'm the most beautiful. And they turned to Zeus, who was like, no, 2 daughters and a wife, I ain't doing that. So they found this guy, Paris, not a place, not Hilton, a guy, and gave him the opportunity to do it. Each one of them offered them a different thing. It's like, give me that apple. Well, Hera said, give me that apple, I will give you power in this world, like power to rule the world, right, in my name, right? Athena said, I will give you so much wisdom. There is nothing you won't know. You won't need all of that because you will have the answers to everything. And Aphrodite said, you give me that apple and I will give you the most beautiful woman on planet Earth to be your bride. Well, he gave it to Aphrodite. Helen of Troy. Trojan War really screwed Odysseus out of that, right? Long way home. Talk about every day is a winding road. So underneath this all, there is a big decision here. Whatever's going on in the outside world with these two, with the Cancerian King of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles, this feels like this may be able to be done not just intuitively in a wise way with party number 1, but possibly for that king to really do this in a fair, balanced, equitable way. What got them here? Ooh, temperance. I like that. Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, pouring a gold cup into a silver cup. The 2 of cups there indicated. So one or both of them have gone through a period of patience, a period of healing. Tempering is actually from, I mean, if you want to really go back, it's about tempering metal, right? It's about making it harder. You take a piece of iron and then you heat it up red hot and then you douse it in oil, right? Or all sorts of ways to temper metal. And it is very much the same process as spiritual alchemy when you start thinking about it, right? Releasing those atoms that would otherwise weaken it, right? Making it stronger. Now there is a balance, there is a harmony, there is a healing here in the past. So, you know, maybe we do have a vampire hunter here with a toxic king, possibly, but with that 6 of Pentacles, I don't know, that feels too good for it to necessarily be a parasitic vampiric. What's above all of this? 9 of Swords. So there's a lot of thoughts going on here, and you guys are air signs, at least the Aquarians, so there might be a lot of overthinking, thinking here. Now, I try and honor people's stories where they are. Like, you're just making up stories, right? Those are the stories you tell yourself. That's not helpful. I listen to confessions all the time. I was a minister. I still do ministry work. I'm just not a minister anymore. I defrocked myself. Thank you very much. So when the mind is doing that, Matt Kahn Healing Mantra, he says it's like an alarm going off telling you that your heart's not open, right? So particularly if you're going to make a decision with too much data to process, all stuck up in your third eye, and come on, Aquarians, I've dated a lot of you. You guys can overthink more than Virgos. Trust me, we can overthink. We just get detail, right? Virgos, Aquarians can try to like process the larger picture, the Google Maps point of view, right? To see that larger picture. What's just around the bend for them? The Tower. Now, only your second major arcana, third major arcana card here. The Tower is not to be feared. All tarot is neutral, right? Just like the archetypes. As horrible as it sounds, as beautiful as it is, as wonderful as it sounds, as horrible as it is. This is Poseidon as Earthshaker. The Tower being struck by lightning by his brother Zeus to bring it down to its foundation, because the foundation was cracked. I mean, there's more to that myth right there. But certainly that can be a bolt of enlightenment. And I would say with the lower 3 chakra, well, I mean, you got half and half. Out of 6 cards, 3 are major arcana. I'm going to say your lower 3 chakra intuition, you've got it balanced, tempered, one or both of you. The Lovers underneath of it, deep down, you know, there's darling, I gotta let me know, should I stay or should I go? And with the Tower, it could be, bam, that fast. You know, the Tower does not take weeks. It happens instantly. And that's why it could be a card of enlightenment. When I teach tarot, and I will teach tarot again someday, when I teach my students about the tarot, the Tower card, I mean, I say, imagine someone who doesn't believe in ghosts or spirits, and it's all just bullshit. And then one morning, 6 a.m. before they wake up, their great-grandmother's sitting on the end of their bed going, right? Grandma, right? All of that gone, right? They see a ghost or a UFO or something. That's what I call them, UFOs. Thank you, Father Guido Sarducci. Very specific reference there. So there is something shocking coming here, right? It could be a revelation, or it could be a truth is spoken that brings it down to the foundation, no matter how big that tower is. The lesson? 2 of Pentacles, definitely a balancing choice here. Now, it's only a 2, right? That should I, shouldn't I, but it's not mental. It is definitely in terms of keeping your balance. Now, we already have the 6 of Pentacles here for party number 1. So the lesson here is probably about fairness, or at least being in balance physically, stably, right? Making sure that at least of the decisions that are underneath all of this, that you start making balanced choices. There is a difference between a choice and decision. All choices have consequence. You breathe out a choice, you breathe in a consequence. It's just how it works. But a decision is life-changing. Well, maybe I'll have another cup of coffee. Not going to change your life, well, depending on the coffee, right? But I'm going to burn it all to the ground and go raise my own coffee beans. That's a life-changing decision. It's a little bit of hyperbole, but, you know, you got to make a point sooner or later with these readings. So the lesson has to do with balance there, and a choice to be in balance. Because if we were to meet you two, we'd be looking at the Fool. Now, you know what I mean by that. This is Dionysus, the 0 card of the major arcana, in between the World and the Magician, taking the leap of faith. And, you know, in a relationship of any kind, there's always a risk. Life is risk, right? Step out of bed every day, it's a risk. Step out your front door, it's a risk. It's the Fool's journey there. But Dionysus is also a god of transcendence and ecstasy. A god of wine, and my patron, if you can't tell with the purple hair, if you can tell I have purple hair. Rich Black, Overtone, no, they don't sponsor me yet. So there is something here of not just a brand new start, because that happens in The Magician. This is that place between the worlds. This relationship could be on pause as both of these people are feeling out what to do. But with that Tower card coming, I wouldn't try and avoid that. I would really look at those 9 of Swords and get that some of those thoughts just are not truth. They're illusions, like the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. The sun does not rise in the east and set in the west if the planet turns on an axis, and spoiler alert, Earth does. Sorry, not sorry. So, the destiny aspect of this. Oh, 2 of Cups. Oh, I think we've got a romantic read here. Definitely a strong attraction here between these two. The entire suit of Cups in the Mythic Tarot is the myth of Eros and Psyche. I know there is a link in the description box, not mine, to a video here telling the story of Eros and Psyche in a comic book panel kind of way. So this is definitely an attraction. It's an opportunity, so of course doing this in a balanced way if there is codependence involved. And, you know, let's step back. There are 4 ego wounds according to Matt Kahn: abuse, neglect, codependence, and loss, right? if you weren't abused, I don't know anybody like that, but blessed be. If you were never neglected, but wow, how did you get away with that? I mean, if you grew up in Western civilization, even used to, I don't know how you got away without wounds of codependence, but everyone has wounds of loss, and of course they can all come together in any number or package there. So, you know, that is a vampiric tendency, but I would keep an eye on the constant complaining your own. And if you are identifying as party number one, you kind of got to slay your own vampire first. And the great thing about Wooden Stakes is, you know, if there are no more vampires left, they still work on ordinary people. You know, useful. Thrifty. Your outcome here, yay! The sun, Apollo. That ain't gonna go well if that vampire has not been. You know. The funny thing is, they say it in witches, vampires and witches. We all know how to slay vampires. It's in us. It's in our culture. All these vampire movies. We just don't think of actually translating it symbolically to the people in our lives. Because you can heal a vampire, but you have to kill the sire, right? Who sired them, and not literally, right? You do that through therapy. So the sun, lower three chakras, healing, happiness, brightness, truth. Things are brought out into the daylight, and now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana cards. We've got some earth, we've got some air, I don't see any fire, but we do have water. Okay, this is enough to really build on. The extended reading should be interesting. Remember, we're getting 10 Daughters of the Moon Tarot to fill in the gap between the 8th chakra and the lower 3. But now, The Whispers of Love, Oracle by Angela Hartfield. 1 card each for party number 1 and party number 2, the voices of the higher selves of all involved. But party number 1 and party number 2, I should say the party number 1 collective and the party number whatever. Please take a deep breath. Talk about thinking too much. That's why we have the still point. Still point. Higher selves override. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, beloved ones, what is the whisper of love for this Aquarian collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and Crosswatcher Path of True Love reading here. A vampire king contract. What is the whisper of love? Piece of information, inspiration, insight needed by party number 1, vampire in the 8th, King of Cups on the outer, and for party number 2, King in the 8th, 6 of Pentacles on the outer, with very similar looking kings. They are not the same kings, but boy do they look alike in this timeless Path of True Love reading. Party number 1, speak the language of love to yourself first. I highly recommend. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. All right, with that Cancerian card, now I will say, look up, oh God, his name just went out of my head, Orpheus, the Orphic mystery schools, because he was a bard, he was a poet, and that's what allowed him to go into the underworld and retrieve his wife. It didn't go well. And here, so that's speak the language of love on this side, again, to yourself here. And for party number 2 with the King, appreciate this moment. Each and every situation has an opportunity to grow and find love. Again, particularly from within. And this is the choice. This is the decision. Now, what I'm going to say with that 9 of Swords crowning all of this, that could be running into the future, into probable realities, and but what if, but what if, but what if. And that's a human thing, right? Don't beat yourself up for that. Trying to stop that in an unloving way does not work. Trust me, I know on that, right? Sometimes it takes meditation. Sometimes it just takes opening the heart or a good emotional release to kind of clear the vibe, clear the chakras on that one. So speaking the language of love and appreciating the moment here does seem like a way to bring some gentleness to this. Again, we have Temperance behind here, which is a lovely healing card. And it does kind of change the vibe of the Tower here from less destructive, but perhaps being more revelatory, like something is revealed here. The sun shines, the clouds part, kind of, sort of, as a result. So, let's get your last card down. The Matcon healing mantra to, it doesn't matter which side of this you are, it works holographically. Yeah, twin flames and soulmates, there is a difference there in how those contracts heal. But let's leave that for part number 2. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Ascended Masters override. As I call upon the Ascended Masters of true love, and there are more of you than we have any idea. A whole lot of you committed to helping us on the path of true love. Please, beloved Ascended Masters, what is your guidance, your grace, your loving, wise, powerful message in the form of a Matcon healing mantra to help the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, signs, and cross watchers watching this video drawn to this reading, alchemize their shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, fear to love, illusions to truth in this Vampire King contract. Celebrating simplicity, I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. So the overthinking is probably the thing, the alchemical lead here. To be brought into gold, because it's fear. And the thing is these fears are passed down to us genetically, I mean, through the biochemistry of emotions, right, for thousands and thousands of years, right? Societally, just what's going on in our world right now, it's very easy to overthink absolutely anything. So to celebrate the simplicity, appreciating this moment, speaking the language of love, does make sense. I'm just going to read you what Mr. Khan has to say. I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain, and there's a built-in mnemonic device in there, memory, more and less, right? I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. When there are fewer details to manage, you are able to receive more joy. The more commitments that pile up in your life, the less likely you are to find the time to take everything in. That could certainly lead to overthinking if you're just so overwhelmed you don't have time to actually integrate anything. Once all moving parts have been arranged in a proper working balance, simplicity can be celebrated, and you can glean the most benefit from your reality. Let's take a pin in this for a second. So I've worked all of these mantras. This deck came out 2018. I bought it off Matcon's website. I knew I needed it, and I did. And it almost works like a spell for me, right? I feel more, right? I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. And I find myself little by little bouncing around the house and like, oh, that goes there and that goes there and comes together. This mantra is ideal for creating stronger boundaries. If there's code about with vampires, right? Just saying, right? And if you're like, yeah, no, I grew up with that. I want to make sure that I don't do that. Absolutely. Creating stronger boundaries. Healing your inner people pleaser, which one will do for a vampire. Just saying. And finding moments of serenity, like now. Serenity now! From the book of the Seinfeldians. So, we're going to put this together in a blessimation. If you're new, that's a combination of the word blessing and summation, but you're an air sign or crosswatcher. You probably knew that. Then we will jump over to part 2, but we are going to talk about some cool stuff at the end of the video readings and all that. So, please take a nice deep breath last time. For this part. Still point. Pantheonic override. And we end as we began. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and crosswatchers who are watching this video and drawn to this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love. That party number 1 can become more aware that someone or something is draining their life force with perhaps the emotional maturity and the emotional creativity, the sensitivity and the empathy, to be aware of that with that King of Cups. And that party number 2 can embrace their enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in their charge, particularly if party number 1 is in their charge in some way, shape, or form, by being fair, by being balanced and equal, give and take, a harmony to that, because there is a life-changing crossroads decision at the core of this that they may or may not be aware of, and they have certainly prepared themselves with some temperance, some balance, some harmony, some healing, but it did take time, patience-wise. Usually alchemy takes time. takes time, heat, and pressure to alchemize lead to gold. And so hovering over this is a cloud of thoughts, right? A whole lot of overthinking, maybe some sleepless nights over this, what to do, what not to do, particularly if it's not even realized that this is a life-changing decision, because as they deal with that, the truth is going to be revealed most likely. The lightning is going to strike with the tower, and what was faulty has been brought down to be rebuilt again, and the star always follows the tower in the tarot. But the lesson is probably right now just for them to keep their balance, one step at a time, choice by choice by choice, while they get closer to understanding the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest, wisest, most empowered way of making this crossroads decision. But were we to meet these two, we would feel probably some great excitement, a real leap of faith. It'd be like an adventure about to begin, which is very hero's journey, and certainly where they are right now, there is a Two of Cups vibe. I would say very much a second chakra connection. So like, visceral, right? But emotional nonetheless. An attraction, not necessarily a guarantee, but this one ends, at least for this chapter of the novel, this scene in the movie, this track on the album, with the sun, Apollo, the god of healing, of light, and of prophecy. Maybe there will be some truth, some light that gets into this, and will certainly deal with that vampiric energy regardless of what that's about. So as party number one can speak the language of love, that they have the power to heal, to change their lives as well as others in this situation. And if party number two can appreciate this moment, because there is an opportunity to grow, heal, and find love here, then certainly this can be much more simpler as they both celebrate simplicity, so that they can feel more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. So may they be blessed with all that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to evolve, to be the best that they can be, the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest, wisest versions of themselves on the path of true love, for their well-being, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So motivate. And so it is. Makes sense. Look, decapitation works for vampires too, but you know that's illegal, apparently. Never done it literally, but I can do it symbolically. You didn't mention I was raised by a lawyer. Very verbal family. Can you tell? So this is a very, very interesting read. I think certainly the simpler this gets, obviously the more mileage you're going to get out of this, no matter how this ends, but it at least ends for this chapter with the sun. So if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, help other Aquarians and cross-watchers find it. That's what algorithms do, but we don't have algorithms over on Patreon, which is probably the number one reason I love it. No one decides what you get to see. Well, except me, because I'm the one that creates the content over there, and you can follow us for free and get the public content. You can shop in our store and not be a subscriber. They keep giving us cool stuff, but all of my subscribers, again, get the daily check-ins, the extended readings, all of them past, present, and future, as long as they remain subscribers, and an extensive discount. Benefit number one and benefit number two would go to the 7-day free trialers as well, but the extensive discount we are holding for people who subscribe. So $3 as a seeker, $5 as a human. You can get that. You just got to stay around for day 8 and beyond, and then you can jump out if you like. If you want me to read you at a discount. But that being said, if you want to book me for a private reading, spiritual counseling and or readings, there's a video in the description box. Booking private sessions with Mal explains it all for you in about 11 minutes in person, which is rare but still happens, right? We can Zoom record it, we can do all of that, even how you pay me, it's just all in there. And I say over and over and over again, I have never and will never turn anybody away because of lack of funds. Where there's a witch, there's a way. I'm a witch, so there's a way. I've bartered all sorts of stuff, but it's got to be something I actually need. Thank you. But even pay it forward, I've done that with people too. So yeah, click the link if you want to check that out too. And, you know, this is an interesting read. I think what's going on behind this, particularly with the vampire, we're going to look at that throat chakra, right? Big time. And those will be the next 10 cards down in the extended cell. You can do this on Vimeo.com, Vimeo on demand if you like. Have at it. But again, Patreon, you get them all automatically if you're one of my subscribers. And 7-day free trialers too. So thank you so much for watching. I love my aquariums. I'm going to turn on the air conditioning again because I'm schwitzing over here. Woo, it's warm. And refresh myself a little bit. Have a little juice or something to bring myself back into balance and refresh, and then we'll do that. So wishing you all the very, very best and the very, very blessed on the path of true love, my beloved aqualungs, my beloved aquarians. Hang in there. Heal, hail, farewell, Kal-El, and blessed be.